First of all, a belated happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much for remembering. Yeah.
I believe it was on 14th of June.
Yes, 14th of June it is.
So how was your birthday?
It was okay. I generally try and not let too many people know. नहीं तो फिर बहुत हंगामा हो जाता है. These kind of stories even I've heard. And I had a couple of conversations with Ritesh as well, and he's mentioned that we're trying to find a way to bring me back into the film. So kind of like maybe a cameo, maybe a couple of scenes, maybe a song. I don't know. Even I'm waiting to see the script or see the scenario in which I'm going to be there. How much I'm going to be there. Am I going to be there? Well, that was a bit of a mistake on the. I kind of mentioned it as a joke, or also I mentioned that maybe I should write a scene where I come back. So it got understood as he's been asked to write a scene. So that is not the truth. So let me clarify that. And but yeah, if you ask me to write something, then दिमाग तो हर कोई लड़ा सकता है.
Have you thought anything of it?
There are many ways, but let's not talk about that here now. I have a lot of friends in Delhi. Delhi is a beautiful place. It's green, it's wide, it's got great tidiness and neatness to the city. It's the capital of the country after all, and in certain areas is like that. There are lots of areas of Delhi which are not really nice areas, as we know, but that's in every city. Now it's people in the sense that because Delhi, it's not really safe for women, and we've constantly heard a lot of horror stories all the time. And I have a lot of friends in Delhi also who keep on giving me these stories as well also. So on a larger level, the people are a little difficult to deal with, not like apna Bombayas who are easy and ever ready to help and things like that. So it's that. I didn't mean it as a huge general statement like Delhi ke sare log kharab hain, aisa kuch nahi hai. So it was one of those things which I'm sure a lot of people would identify with. A lot of people have had their own experiences in Delhi with Delhi people. So it's it just got. Of course. See, it's a city that you've grown up in. You have a comfort level with the city. You have a relationship with the city. You've lived all your life here. You've grown over here. You've evolved here. Your industry is here. Your work is here. Your business is here. Everything is here. So yes, of course. Yeah, I used to write a couple of columns for a newspaper for HT Cafe called If I May Say So. I used to write a column for Rolling Stone magazine. No, not even. I wrote that for about 2 or 3 years. Then I decided to move on from that, and I guess they wanted to write more about politics than they wanted to write about music. So yeah, I moved on from that now.
So
since then,
of writing.
Well, it's nice because you've been a part of the scene as well also, and you just want to share. If somebody asks you for your opinion and you feel that you can contribute something constructive to it, then you take that chance. Otherwise, it's just anybody just ranting their own opinions when not asked for. So that's why. Well, I look back like it was just yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday only the film released. Yesterday only we finished shooting. No, it's a great memory. It's been a great memory. It was a great experience to work with all the actors as well, everybody, and the crew was also fabulous. Excel always put on a good production. They make sure that the actors feel comfortable and they feel valued, more importantly, for the time that they're working with them, and of course during the promotion and everything as well also. So yeah, we didn't really know what the film would become. We thought it would reach out to at least the musical aspect of the audience, the youth that listens to music.
But it's a cult.
But it's cult because it reached out to everybody from 6 to 60, and till this day I attend events and I have fathers and mothers and people coming up to me bringing their sons and saying they really like the film. I said, but they're 5 years old. When did they see the film? The film is 6 years old. So it's one of those things. They just like the fact that something really talked about their generation, and it talked about 2 different generations as well also. The generation that couldn't follow their dream of music, and a lot of them decided to get back to music as well also. And of course the generation that is entering into music as well, of how to, what to do, what not to do.
Even I started to learn guitar after rock.
See what I mean? So it's great when a creative work does that. It motivates a generation to do something with their lives. I think that's when art really reaches out for the betterment of society. One thing that happens in Hindi films is that you get stereotyped after doing a certain kind of role, in a certain way. In Rock On, my character was as is. There was no backstory that he's foreign or he's this or he's that. फिर भी, अब मैं क्या बोलूं? There were a couple of offers that came by, but some got stuck, some didn't work out, and things like that. I'm also developing my own scripts and own films as well also. So I'm in talks with a couple of studios. And so let's see how that goes. We keep meeting at events and or something or the other keeps happening. I keep meeting Shankar's son as well, also Siddharth, and he keeps telling me, hey, today we recorded this song, it's very cool. I said, yeah, cool, let me hear it when it's ready.
So you have heard it?
Things like that.
From Dil Dhadakne Do, he composed it.
Yeah, of course. I've heard all the music from Dil Dhadakne Do. Yeah,
you liked it?
It's good music.
Okay.
They always, Excel always have a good pulse on the youths and what kind of music they're listening to. And Shankar and son-in-law are young at heart themselves.
Yeah.
So when they compose music, they try and compose with an idea of what will the youth of today like. So they write very fresh and very vibrant melodies. So I guess I'm doing a play.
Okay.
The shows are coming up in the next month. We're doing 3 shows in Delhi next month, and then 3 in Bombay, and then 5 in Calcutta in September. It's a play called The Merchant of Venice.
Okay.
It's a Shakespeare production, but it's a contemporary production. So it's set in the world of Wall Street and Las Vegas and things like that. So yeah, from the start we knew that it was a small, really tiny budget film. So the budget of our film is probably the cost of one song from Go Goa Gone.
Oh.
It was that small. So when you have a film that is that small, it gets a little difficult for the producers and for the investors to then put any more money on publicity and marketing. So we did what we could, and we seeded it in the centers that we could, and whatever little we could do via social media and via electronic media we did as well also. So we got a lot of support that way. And yes, of course, at the end of the day, it's a money game. So unfortunately this time around we didn't have the money. Okay. But maybe next time around we might have more money. Well, everybody who saw it liked it.
Okay.
I mean, there are people who said, this is not a zombie film, where are the zombies? It's just, there's only one zombie in it. But at the point of it is, it's an origin film. How do you explain to an Indian audience ke zombie kya hota hai? So you had to at least show the origin ke all zombies were people at one point in time. So this is that one person ki kahani, So it's one of those things. So that's So that's why it's called Rise of the Zombie. Yeah. So now this is one guy, and this is what happens to him. So it's more a drama horror kind of as opposed to an out and out horror film like we are most familiar with. So that's what we try to do with this one. So yeah, so for all practical purposes, it's the first Hindi zombie origin film that was made. So we're happy with that to a certain extent. And hopefully in time we will get money to make part 2 and part 3. So
Surely.
let's see. We met 13th Floor was the first feature.
Okay. First feature.
It was 80 minutes. So from Hindi film standards, it's a short film, but it's not a short film.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the first film. That was very experimental. So it was about 2 people who get stuck in an elevator, and then पूरी पिक्चर फिर लिफ्ट में होती है और 2 लोग बात करते हैं और उसके and with that conversation. So the point is to do something that has never been done in a way which at least Indian audiences can say कोई कुछ तो कर रहा है अलग. Not because you want to do something अलग, but just so that there are so many stories that can be told in so many different ways. So this was just one other of the different ways that we wanted to tell the story of these 2 people. Set was designed by an interior designer. Okay, the music was done by a pilot. The friend of mine as well also. He flies for Jet Airways, but he also dabbles in music. So I said like, मेरे पास पैसे नहीं यार, music कर देगा. Just 3 or 4 parts, cues are there in the film where music was required, and boom, he did the music. The costumes were done by a fashion designer, and what else was that? Our editor was a fashion photographer, all from different streams. So it's just that's how experimental it was. But yes, came together really well because we had the support of Purab and Sandhya. And they did a fantastic job. We shot the film in 6 days.
Yeah, but
we had budgeted for 7 days, but one day Purab fell ill, so we had to finish the film in 6 days. Okay. So it's the smallest film ever made in the shortest amount of time ever made in India. In fact, it was telecast on Z a couple of years ago for 6 months. Okay. I was part of. They had a property called Get Shorty, where they were shows where they focused on few people doing. So I was part of that as well also. So I did a deal with them as part of that where they showed my film. Okay, I have not associated myself with small independent films. Okay, it's just that it's happened such that to do something different you have to start small, and when you start small you have to not everybody will want to throw the crores at you first time around, because I have not done the assistant directing 10 साल 15 साल बड़े डायरेक्टर के लिए चाय लाना वो सब मैंने नहीं किया है. So I have learnt by watching other people's films. I have learned by being on sets at various points in time. So like I was saying, you have to start small, because I don't have the wherewithal to start big. But so it kind of like feels like I've been associated with small independent films. Coming back to the second part of your question, indie cinema in India. Hindi films in India have always been independent since day one, because we have never had a studio system. A few people set up studios back in the day in the 1930s and the 1940s, but actors for a very short while were on contract, and after that there was the studio system it died before it even was born. So the first studios that opened, which was Bombay Talkies, they tried to set up a studio system that broke down, that became Filmistan. Then the other people started their own studios, like Mehboob Studios, like Yash Raj, and so on and so forth. So it's always been an independent effort. Over the years, those independent guys have now become big studios, and they've become corporatized and so on and so forth. So now we're talking about indie films and Indian indie cinema. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It's all about how much money you have and how much the project costs. उसके हिसाब से then you do your casting, then you do your put your stars, and you put your things together. In fact, as we know, a lot of the stars today have started their own studios. So they are also independent, right? Akshay has his own, Shah Rukh has his own, Salman has his own, Arbaz has his own, Sohail has his own. Within the family there are 3 independent productions. There's Salman Khan Films, there's Sohail Khan Productions, and there's Salman.
Being Human and Salman Khan Films.
See, everybody is independent all the time. You know what I'm saying? So there really is no studio system. At any of the bigger multiplexes are, when there is no place to fill in a big Hollywood film or a big Hindi film, they show the small films. So indie films वहाँ पर आ ही जाती है, you know. And but if you're seeing somebody setting up a theatre to show only indie films, then what is that model going to be?
Then we get to know more about after this.
Exactly.
After this point.
There needs to be a model. What is the model of that? If you're going to say I'm going to set up a theatre just to show indie films, what does it really mean? Are you going to give indie films the distribution that it really needs? Or are you still going to go back and tell the producers to say give us more money so we can put ads in papers? My viewers and my fans, well, a lot more Hungama for sure.
It will be.
No, well, I hope that these 2 film projects that I'm developing, one is a musical film and one is a road movie / romantic comedy, which is set in Sweden and in Bihar. These 2 are the ones that I'm shopping around to studios as well, also whoever gets interested, because they both are very, very lucrative projects, and if they get picked up, then those projects will make a lot of money for those studios and for me, hopefully. But so these 2. The plays are on, so come and see the play. It's Merchant of Venice. It plays at St. Andrews in August. Okay, before that I'll tell you to follow me on Twitter. It's Luke Kenny Live, and on Facebook also it's Luke Kenny Live, and on Instagram also it's Luke Kenny Live, and okay, that's it for now. इतना सोशल मीडिया काफी है. दिल क्या कहता है मेरा क्या मैं बताऊं, तुम ये समझोगे शायद मैं पागल हूँ. दिल करता है टीवी टावर पे मैं चढ़ जाऊं, चिल्ला चिल्ला के मैं ये सबसे कह दूं. है ये वक्त का इशारा, रॉक ऑन हर लम्हा पुकारा. रॉक ऑन यूं ही देखता है क्या तू, रॉक ऑन जिंदगी मिलेगी ना दोबारा. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you around sometime soon again.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Faridoon Shahryar. For the most interesting celebrity interviews, do subscribe to Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.